What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and this is what we like to call the after party. Yes, this is the after party. We just got done with the VR Roundtable live show, which of course is every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Asterix Gaming checking in. Asterix, were you over there? Were you at the VR Roundtable live show? I don't know if I saw you in chat. I've always wondered, like, if the audience for this show and the audience for that show, you would imagine there would be like a 90% crossover, but it isn't always like that. It's kind of weird. It's almost like two different categories. Will Flourish, good morning. What is up, Will? J King, he missed it. Of course, there will always be an archived version, so you will be able to catch it later. I thought we had a lot of good topics on the episode today, a lot of good stories that we got into. We hadn't done, I Am Ruts is in the building, and he definitely was in chat. I do remember him from chat. I think Chebby was over there as well. Yeah, this is the after party. You know, you can take off your dress jacket, you can chill out a little bit. I'm actually wearing a long sleeve shirt, which this is one of the first times I've been able to wear a long sleeve shirt. The weather has been a little bit better. We are in the month of September. Hey, you guys are VR gamers, and you know we look forward to the winter. We look forward to cold because we know we can throw on all our VR crap and start playing Beat Saber, and we'll be warm in about 5 to 10 minutes without much difficulty. So we're actually looking forward to fall. We're looking forward to temperatures lowering. We're looking forward to eventually putting our fans into the closet and not needing our fans. Now, J King says it's 95 here in Florida, but even worse than that, J King, what is the humidity? Because let me tell you, it really is humidity. When I was in Hawaii that 1 week, the humidity is there. You're always kind of sticky. You can take a shower and 15 minutes later, you kind of feel sticky and you want to jump in the shower again. IPCSK is checking in. I'm going to turn the volume up on this and grab a sip of water. Hold on a sec. I do love this music. I like this nice music. I love these visuals. Wow, 86% humidity. Ouch. 86% humidity. Yeah, see, Sacramento, sometimes we get like up into 110, 112. I'm telling you, it actually happens here in Sacramento, but it is dry. We don't have the humidity usually. Usually we don't have the humidity. But anyway, guys, welcome to the after party from the VR Roundtable show. Of course, this is not VR Roundtable. This is the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and I probably should throw on my standard intro. Yeah, VR Game Rankings. Let's see, what episode are we, by the way? Daily Vlog Live, episode 189 for Sunday, September 2nd. We are in the month of September. The next big game that is going to be coming out in the near term is Zone of the Enders. Zone of the Enders is coming out this Tuesday. And the thing about Zone of the Enders, I actually finally tried the Zone of the Enders demo. I tried that yesterday, and it was weird because I wasn't sure, am I even in the VR mode of the demo? Because a lot of this demo was actually, it was like a movie screen, and it was like I was watching this movie screen, but then there would be mist or something that would float by, and so it was like I was in a movie theater with a big movie screen. The mist was floating by, and then eventually I got to some of these sections where it really was first person. You were in a cockpit and you were battling these guys. It's kind of an interesting thing. I kind of maybe discounted this a little bit too much and thought that it was a complete and utter dud. I still don't think I would pay 30 bucks for this. I'm not that hyped on it. The music for this trailer is not very good. Their acoustics, sound quality, not very good on this trailer. But I didn't get too far in the demo. I actually did not finish the. You have to go through this whole entire thing. It's like you're watching a movie at the same time. So I probably should try this again before I go a little bit deeper into my thoughts on it. But I don't think I'll be grabbing this on Tuesday. I'm not really checking for that. That's not something I'm that excited about. Okay, let's see. What can we get in today? Now, there is a bit of news that is going on. Probably the biggest news of the day, and you'll see this on the Vive subreddit, is the red team. Yes, the red team is in the news. Supposedly, AMD confirms that there will be a new 7nm Radeon graphics cards launching at some point in 2018. So this is some exciting news. It's been all NVIDIA lately. This is going to be, you got the Polaris 10 in 2016, the Vega 10 in 2017, and now the Vega 20, possibly late 2018. And you'll see at the bottom there, there is a rumored 20 teraflops. Polaris 10 had 5.8 teraflops. Vega 10 has 13 teraflops, and this supposedly is bumping all the way up to 20 teraflops. And that's the card is on the right there. The chip is on the right. This figure is simply unheard of, especially out of a chip of this size, which AnandTech estimates to be roughly 336 millimeters. To put this in perspective, if accurate, the figure would put it 25% ahead of NVIDIA's most powerful GPU yet, the 754 millimeter Monster Turing GPU, all the while Vega 20 allegedly achieves this with half the silicon real estate and also sucking a lot lower amount of power. So if you have a relatively low powered power supply, there's a benefit. And the rumor is PS5 could have a Ryzen CPU Zen plus this new Navi GPU, 20 teraflops, PlayStation 5. Look at that cheeseburger. This is a double-double. It's a double-double quadruple cheeseburger. Look at the PS4 Pro, like the super duper PS4 Pro that they made into PS5. PS5, there are rumors November 2019 for PS5, and that PS5 has this new 7nm, not this chip, you know, it's the PS5 is not going to have 20 teraflops, but basically a cousin of that. So the red team is in the news. I mean, really, honestly, the best thing with all of this news is there has to be some modicum of pressure placed on NVIDIA, because NVIDIA has just been able to run rampant. NVIDIA has had no competition. You look at the Vega 10 series, the Vega FE, the Vega 64, the Vega 56, they just really didn't compete head-to-head with NVIDIA in any meaningful way, and we need something to compete in a meaningful way. Paradise Decay says, I have never owned an AMD. I've never had an AMD CPU. I am Intel from the very beginning, man, because basically the very first PC I built, I believe, was in 1997. In early 1997, I built a PC, and it was a Pentium 200 MMX, basically. That was my chip, my CPU. That is what I started off with. And I pretty much was a Pentium guy. You know, I had a Pentium in the late 90s, always upgrading my motherboard, upgrading my CPU. I went through so many graphics cards. Dude, I was the type of guy, and I know some of you guys are in chat, that you always had to have the highest end GPU. It didn't matter. You jumped on that bandwagon. I was that type of guy back in the late 90s, 1997, 1998, 1999. I was jumping on graphics card after graphics card. Basically, every 5 months, I bought a new graphics card, and I would just sell off the old one. But never, ever did I end up with an AMD CPU, although, I mean, we have a computer in the house that has an AMD CPU. We might actually have a couple. They're just like, you know, the kind of computer you get from Staples that you just use for like kids doing homework and stuff. And I think a couple of those do have AMD CPUs. And GPUs, I believe I have had, or I've had Radeon GPUs in the past, but it's been a long time. But I believe I have had a Radeon GPU. But I've pretty much been an NVIDIA guy. I'm pretty much Intel, NVIDIA. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit of a bias. They've proven to be solid. It's just, you know, you get used to certain products. I don't consider myself an Intel fanboy or a NVIDIA fanboy, but I continue to buy their products. I like Dial soap, so I continue to buy Dial soap. That is the soap that I use. You know, I like Peet's dark roast, French roast coffee. That is the brand that I use. And I guess you could say I'm a fanboy of that, but I just go to it because it's good, you know? Okay, let's see. What is the next story we want to get to here? So that is AMD. Honestly, I don't know that we're actually getting a legitimate Radeon consumer graphics card that will be sold for 7 nanometers this year, but at least the balls are going to be rolling in that direction. Okay, so another news story we can get to is this is on the PlayStation VR subreddit, and basically what they're saying over there is this is some serious bullshit right here, because Firewall, a big time game, really huge game, has hit PlayStation VR. It is all the rage on the PSVR subreddit. It's all anybody's talking about. Everybody says it is really good. Steve played this. He said it was really good. I'm hoping to run over to Best Buy later today. I will be checking this out finally. I was going to get it yesterday. I know I said I was going to get it yesterday. And if they had it at the Target that's like 10 minutes away from me, I absolutely would have got it. They got it at the Best Buy, which is like 25 minutes away from me, but I am going to grab it regardless. Hopefully it's still there. Hopefully not the last bundle got snagged. But there's no mainstream reviews. That's what the complaint is here. Not that there's no reviews, period. It's that there's no reviews on mainstream gaming websites. When are mainstream gaming websites going to take VR gaming seriously? Are they going to take VR gaming seriously? And honestly, I got to tell these people, see, maybe they're new to VR, but you got to give up on mainstream gaming. Mainstream gaming looks at VR as a niche. They look at AR as a niche. Mainstream gaming is still in the world of flat games. They're in the world of the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and the Fortnites. And it's flat gaming, and it's streaming, and it's sitting on a couch, and it's holding the controller in hand. Mainstream gaming can't hang with VR right now. They're going to be dragged kicking and screaming into our VR future and our AR future. And it's an unavoidable future. So all these mainstream media companies that are not really giving VR any kind of love, they're going to suffer a little bit because they're going to be late to the party. They're going to try to join us at the last second and be like, oh yeah, we were always down with VR. We were always down with AR. You know, it's all good, guys. Here we are. Now we're here. But they're not going to have the insight. So maybe there will be new media that will be born out of this that will do a better job covering VR. So F these guys. You got to just go with the small sites. It's an unfortunate thing. You know, I check out Upload VR, Road to VR. I check out Reddit. You know, sometimes I'll go to NeoGAF, but they don't have much coverage over there. It's more of they're a mainstream thing, so they don't cover VR much. It's a pancake world, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a pancake world. We're basically like fighting game fans, or we're like Japanese RPG fans. We're like a segment. We're like racing game fans that get the 3 monitors. That's what we are in the grand scheme of things. We are a subset of gaming. And we've got to come to that realization. I know there's some people, they jumped on VR and they were expecting every big game is going to VR. This is the next thing, right? Every big game is going to VR. This is the future. And they're like, hey, wait a minute. I just jumped on VR. I'm expecting Call of Duty in VR. I'm expecting Fortnite in VR, but oh, I can't get everything in VR. And then they're super disappointed. And then they start playing the few AAA games that we have. And then they start complaining there's not enough AAA games. Where's Grand Theft Auto in VR? And the bottom line is we just have to deal with a lot less. That's just the way it's going to be. Beggars cannot be choosers is a famous quote. Let's see. I'm going to throw in a random trailer temporarily. I will check out what people are talking about in chat. And see what random trailer I'll put on. Let's see. Dead Effect 2. Haven't seen this trailer in a fortnight. Okay, let's see. What are people talking about in chat? Pablo Cesar Petrucelli. There is a Firewall review, but it is in Spanish. So in Spanish countries, they're taking VR seriously. Maybe we're just not taking VR seriously in the USA. Fluke Rogi, tell me it's a pancake world. Maybe VR game, but I'm also 130 plus hours into Monster Hunter World. So Fluke can bounce back and forth. He can play 2D. I mean, he can play regular flat games. He can play VR games. I got to admit that it's hard for me to go back to flat. Now, when Spider-Man is available on PS4, may I rent it for one day to play it for 2 hours just to see, you know, what is state of the art on this flat stuff that they talk about. Maybe try Spider-Man for a second, you know, but I just can't play flat anymore. Just can't do it. Let's see. People just don't watch IGN and GameSpot anymore. They lost all their credibility. Asterix Gaming says, I played the fan-made Wolfenstein 3D VR today. It was great to play a classic-type game in VR. I hope more retro games like the original Doom end up in VR. Asterix Gaming, I got to tell you, when you were in the Castle Wolfenstein experience, when you were looking at the ceiling, wasn't there something about the texture of the ceiling that really made it feel like you're there, you're in Wolfenstein? What were you playing it on? Do you have an HTC Vive or do you have an Oculus Rift? Because I had major problems with aiming on the Oculus Rift because I think it's completely off because it's built towards a Vive controller and I could not shoot the Nazis worth a damn. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So I'm just wondering, could anybody else, Asterix Gaming's, were you on a Vive? Were you on a Rift? What happened there? Yeah, but let's see. I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to the Vive subreddit. Haven't really checked it. Let's see what's going on. And the #1 story, they're talking about Flat Worlds. There is a game called Flat Worlds. I haven't really paid attention to that. They're talking about the AMD confirms new 20 teraflops. They're talking about the Pimax 8K, the 5K Plus. Not much is going on over there. So I will bounce over to the Oculus. Now, here's the thing, guys. On the Oculus subreddit, they have a video of this monkey playing VR. And I hope I don't fuck up my stream because I'm going to download this because I hope I'm not ruining my stream to get this monkey playing in VR. But I'm downloading it. I'm hoping I'm going to play this video in a second here because it's just freaking hilarious. I mean, where are we going, folks? Oh man, I don't think this is going to run because I got to convert this. But hold on a second. I'm going to try to get, if it's the last thing I do, I am going to get this monkey on the show. So hold on a second, folks. Patience is a virtue. Let's see here. I have a thing that can convert a GIF to a normal video real quick. That's the thing, man. There's all these videos all over the place, and you have to use all these different kinds of things to download them. Damn it. It's saying file is too large, so maybe I will not get this monkey. It's saying file too large. Oh well. Well, anyways, I tried. There is a monkey thing. It does look pretty cool. Unfortunately, I cannot get it. Epic fail on that note. But let's go back. Okay. So let's go back to the Oculus subreddit. So they're talking about Rift and Windows VR squeeze market share from Vive in latest Steam survey. That is on Road to VR. They got another Beat Saber video with a guy doing Darth Maul. I've seen a ton of these. It's not really anything brand new. So I'm not seeing much news. So let me just go ahead. And I believe I have something to pop on the screen here. And so let's talk about this Mammoth VR Touch. This is something that was new to me, but a lot of people in chat have been talking about this, that you got to get these Mammoth grips for your Oculus Rift, this like aftermarket grip thing. Yeah, Tessram said it's pretty impressive that a monkey even respects the chaperone. That's the thing that I was amazed by that video. The monkey does not wander out of the, like he's really staying in the play space. He's doing a very good job of staying in the play space. That was funny about the monkey. I tried to post a link to Monkey MP4, but was not allowed. If it's on a YouTube channel, just give me the name of the YouTube channel and I can search it. But yeah, this is this Mammoth grips thing. A lot of people have been talking about this. I didn't know what the hell people were talking about, but I guess it's just supposed to give you a much nicer feel, and then you can use it with these gun stocks for like Pavlov and Onward and whatnot. It's got a nice little beat going. This is Pavlov, I think, right? But yeah, Mammoth Touch grips. So there was like a Kickstarter for this, right? Is there a way to just buy these individually now if you never did the Kickstarter? Pablo Cesar Petrucelli says, feels so realistic. Do you actually have these grips? I've thought about getting these actually after seeing them, because I do like the fact that it just... The monkey is on Imager / old NKS. Old 6 NKS. Trying to find the monkey video. Desperately. I'm not finding it. Anyway, I won't worry about that. Okay. But yeah, these are the Mammoth grips. I'm interested. How much are these? Can I order them now? What is the story on these things? Looks kind of cool. Oh, he has the Vive version. So they have the Vive version of it. See, for some reason, I feel like it when it wraps around the touch already melts into your hands pretty damn well. So if these things can enhance that even more and make you feel like, oh, I'm getting a really nice feel of this thing, that's kind of cool. I like these after mods. Hybrid Energy says he wants his Knuckles controllers already. Where the hell are Knuckles? Dude, where is Valve? Where is the Knuckle controllers? What is going on? Seems like it is going to be a million years until we get Knuckles. I'm going to try something that might screw up our stream a tiny bit for like a minute, but it will get me that monkey video. I will get that monkey video, so hold on a second. This is going to jack up the show for like for like 10 seconds. Yeah, okay. It's like 7 seconds of video. I mean, come on, 7 seconds of video. This is the after party, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite as scripted as normal. I don't know if that did screw up the stream for a second, but I'm all done. So let's see if I can grab this monkey video and all of our fantasies will be fulfilled. Yes, it's the monkey. Oh, wait. No, it's just showing it like a picture. What? Oh, man. It didn't work. Oh, well. The damn monkey video. Okay, let's see here. I am going to go to something else. Let's talk about Magic Leap for a second. There was this tweet, this guy Alex Colum, despite all necessary warnings, some experiences really are best outside. Hashtag Fort Lauderdale Beach has never looked more enticing. I did see this little Magic Leap demo and I thought it's kind of cool. Here's your whale, ladies and gentlemen. The whale that splashes through the gymnasium. Okay, so this guy is like on a balcony near a beach using his Magic Leap 1, and he's checking out this very transparent whale that is swimming around up in the clouds over this beach, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Does look kind of cool. I mean, this is the promise of VR. VR. This is the promise of AR. AR is going to be a factor. It is going to be something that is going to come into our lives and it's going to disrupt our lives in major ways. And this video gives you a sample of that. It is very transparent. The whale is not a solid object. I mean, you can see right through it. You see the clouds, you see the sky, you see the ocean right behind it. So until they can get that better, it's clipping through that building a little bit there. But I still think this is impressive. Like the Magic Leap is doing some stuff. Magic Leap 1, I still would love to demo one of those. There's actually somebody in San Diego that said they're getting a Magic Leap 1 very soon. They emailed me and they said I could demo it if I could get down to San Diego. I just don't know when I'm going to be down in San Diego. Okay, why don't we go to another quick little story I have, which is there's a game. There's all these games that slip through the cracks all the time. And this game, When Wardens Fall. This is another one of these VR games that slips through the cracks. It comes out. We don't know anything really about this. No one's really talking about this. This came out on August 24th. And I believe it's selling for $24.99. It's kind of this dungeon crawling game. Has anybody checked this out? It is called When Wardens Fall. It's by PeerNet Games, a very small developer, I believe. $24.99. I don't know anything about it. I don't think it has any reviews. Let's check out this trailer. Looks a little Mage's Tale like, a little bit like Carnage Chronicles a little bit. Pretty low production values on the trailer, basically just footage of a dude playing, but that's cool. That looks pretty clean. They're using the Oculus hand, so this is probably running natively on Oculus SDK. So yeah, this game called When Wardens Fall. You're basically in this prison that like has gone to hell, and it's like, but it's kind of like a RPG looking game. Hopefully they have free locomotion besides teleport. But this is just another one of these games that slips through the cracks. We see them all the time. Okay, let's see what people are talking about in chat. Scion VR, the Mammoth grips make the touch controllers longer. Sly Stick Sigil, regarding the monkey video, can anyone say Lawnmower Man? Dude, it's going to get dangerous. We're going to have monkeys addicted to VR and chain smoking cigarettes. It's going to be some terrible stuff. Tessrim says, about that Magic Leap video, why is he moving his head so slow? To hide the fact that the whale is not anchored into the world? Why do you gotta ruin it for us, Tezrim? I was hyped on that video. You gotta ruin it. Fluke says, I feel like I've been on the subreddit way too long. Every funny video that makes me relive what our Oculus was about 3 years ago. Yeah, I just liked the monkey paying attention to, like, he did not go, you would think he would just go running off, but no, he stayed right in the play area, like he knew it was up. Like, that wasn't his first time with an HTC Vive. Hybrid Energy says, looks a bit like the Soul Keeper VR. Man, I have not played the Soul Keeper VR since it originally came out. That game did not work very good at all. The 3D audio was non-existent. There really wasn't 3D audio. Nick Daniels says it looks so dark. A lot of these screenshots, they are very dark. And if you have your headset on and you're in that world, it looks, you know, it's more vibrant. But yeah, a lot of these screenshots are very dark. It does look very dark right here, though. I'm sure there's a lot of people, they've played Vanishing Realms and they've said, well, hey, I could make Vanishing Realms. Vanishing Realms isn't doing anything super special. And so all these different companies out there trying to make their own dungeon crawler kind of a game, Mage's Tale, Vanishing Realms, Carnage Chronicles. This looks to be another one in that same line. Looks pretty decent, but of course, I could play this and it could feel absolutely horrible and it could be total crap. Just never know. Ben Plays VR did a 2-minute review, I guess, for this game. So yeah, I don't know anything about this game. It just happened to be another one of these games that comes out of the woodwork. It's asking for a lot of money. I mean, this game is trying to get like 25 bucks. You know, so it's asking for some money, and but I've never really heard of it. Just wondered if you guys heard anything about it. So here is the Lost and Forgotten VR. I tried to get into this yesterday, and I actually did get in it. So see this whole Utah part with the river and everything? I've actually seen this. You get on these zip lines on the edges of like these cliffs, these mountains, and you ride these zip lines and you're going across the river. I did not get into this part. I got stuck again. I could not get into the cave or wherever you're supposed to go, so I did not do any of these light puzzles. But I actually was outdoors on that Utah kind of canyon. I even fell into the river. I fell into the river and was floating down the river. Wasn't all that great, though. I'm not giving any kind of recommendation to this game at all. Maybe on the Vive it plays perfectly smoothly, but yeah, I probably wouldn't use my $8 on this, to be totally honest. I feel bad because, you know, the dev, he did shoot me a code and he emailed me, and it's like a single dude and he's trying to make his first game, and you know, I really don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I probably, it wasn't that cool. I like the visuals. I like the trailer. Looks a lot better than what I ultimately played, is basically what I'm trying to say here. But I'm just going to throw on some random trailer. Here's Ken. This is something I've been playing in my Oculus Go a lot. I'll probably end up finishing this game on my Oculus Go. Paradise Decay says, the dev for this game is in my Discord. I have not tried it yet. Didn't you have issues on the Rift? Yeah, the first time I tried to get in it, I had a lot of problems. Like, it didn't work, or maybe I just wasn't waiting long enough for it to load up. I had a number of issues, but I did get in it. I did experience zip lining across the river. You know, you're kind of like Grand Canyon-ish style, Utah a little bit. I did experience that. It was kind of cool, but it wasn't as cool as I would like it to be, and I didn't get into the cave. It's possible if I had an HTC Vive, that game plays absolutely flawlessly on an HTC Vive, and I'm just having issues with my Rift. I kind of wish I had an HTC Vive just as an option, so I could, for testing purposes, you know, it would be nice to have, basically be nice to have everything. I wish I had a Samsung Odyssey. I wish I had an Acer, a Lenovo, you know, I might as well have everything, right? I wish I had every headset so I could just have them here, pop them on, and be able to test games. It would be nice for that. Let's see. Cyan VR says, I am excited to try Carnage Chronicles in co-op. Bought it for 25% off yesterday on the Oculus Store. Carnage Chronicles is a great game. It is a really awesome game. I've never tried it co-op, but Carnage Chronicles, man, sometimes you're walking around the corner and you're going down this staircase and you see this castle off in the distance and you see the waves crashing against the ocean, and it's like the whole entire scene. You're like, man, this is Lord of the Rings. I am inside Lord of the Rings. Carnage Chronicles has some really cool moments in it. No question about it. Paradise Decay says, I believe we need AAA quality games like Stormlands for VR games to evolve. Yeah, there is also a lot of Stormland footage that is out there. Cass and Chari, you know, they played Stormland. There was that other video of Stormland. So people are definitely talking about Stormland. That is the most AAA looking game that is still floating out there. So, you know, certainly there's that. Here is the Firewall AIM bundle. I am going to be, right after this show is over, I am going to go ahead and try to bounce to my nearest Best Buy. I'm going to try to grab this. I'm going to hold this controller in my hand. I'm going to try Firewall. It is going to be an interesting experience. So hopefully I will get my hands on this thing today. I will be able to talk about it on tomorrow's episode at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. It is Labor Day weekend. It's a holiday here in the U.S. And this Monday, right after I do my show tomorrow, I have to immediately bounce out of here over to a fantasy football draft. I used to really be into fantasy football. Now I have no time and I don't watch hardly anything and I don't know anything about anything. So it's going to be a really weird draft for me. But tomorrow, after tomorrow's show, I got to immediately bounce over to a fantasy football draft. But yeah, I'm going to try to buy Firewall later today. Check that out. It will be interesting. Might be able to get into a game with Steve. He was playing some Firewall 0 hour. Let me take a last check of the news. Let's bounce over to Upload VR. They're talking about how Apple's acquisition of Aconia Holographics will redefine VR. I don't know about that. Sometimes these things never pan out for anything. They're talking about fly a drone with these Epson Movero AR glasses. Does anybody hook up drones to your VR headset and like fly a drone? VR Spry Guy says, I hate fantasy football. It ruined watching my team play on Sunday. Fantasy football does completely change the way you think about football. You no longer even care who's winning or losing. You're just focused on your players, and it does kind of screw things up from that standpoint. It's hard for me to get. I used to be a ridiculously huge fan of NFL football. Seahawks were my team, and Sunday was like my day. Sunday from 10 a.m. Pacific to 10 a.m. p.m., I was watching football all day long. Oh my God, I was really into NFL football. But since I've gotten into all of this VR stuff, I just really don't have much time for football anymore. So I kind of just avoid it altogether. But I'm going to try to play fantasy football this year. I'm just going to draft a random team and see what happens. I'm thinking it'll probably be my best draft of all time because I'm putting no attention into it, and I'm just going to go in there and just go with the flow. So anyway, I'm just going to throw on some random trailers real quick here. Let's check out In Death Paradise Lost. This is an update that's going to be coming to In Death at some point in the not too distant future. This will be super cool. I really feel like In Death, one of the best games of 2018. But I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR, just see if there's any last minute stories that are going on over there. And they're not really talking about much on Road to VR, so there's nothing really going on over there. So that's pretty much it. Don't have too many news stories going on today. It is Sunday. It's kind of a slow thing. Let's see what's going on in chat. Not much going on in chat either. So we're just kicking back. It's 11:41 a.m. Pacific time. This is In Death. I think, one of the best games of 2018 so far, easily. I think In Death came out in late January. Probably the best game of January for 2018, in my opinion. And yeah, I'll just throw a Megaton Rainfall on here for a little bit. Hybrid Energy says, the only football I watch is the Super Bowl, and that's for the chips, beer, and friends. You know, football, all sports in general, though, eventually VR for sports is going to be incredible. It's going to be super freaking incredible, but we're like 10 years away from that. But when that happens, when we have actually a crystal clear video for sports, and it's like we're standing on the sidelines or we're hovering like 5-7 feet behind the quarterback, behind the running back, angled down, looking at the running back, looking at the quarterback, looking at your offensive line, and everything is crystal clear. And like in the NBA, you're going to basically have Jack Nicholson's seat in the NBA. Or if you're into Major League Baseball, it's going to be like you're the umpire, or you're standing behind the umpire, behind the catcher, watching everything take place. VR is absolutely going to revolutionize sports for everybody. It is, because you're basically also, all these companies, they're going to be able to sell those VR feeds for a pretty expensive amount, because they're basically going to give you the perfect view that you could possibly have on the sporting event, crystal clear. Gary Haylock is saying next VR, but I feel like they are 10 years away, because I think if you look at it now, it's just not there. We need the field of view, we need the clarity, we need the resolution. Everything has to improve by leaps and bounds, but it's inevitable. It is absolutely inevitable. There's no way you're going to stop it. So sports are going to be completely any live event that you can imagine is going to be so much better in VR. You're going to feel like you're a season ticket holder to your favorite sports team, and like you have courtside seats. You're actually going to have a better view of the game than somebody that physically goes there. But we need the resolution, we need the bandwidth. 5G, you know, people talk about 5G. Yeah, we've heard 5G a million times, but maybe 5G, maybe that's how you can get super high resolution sports to a headset without the latency with 5G. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So anyway, I'm just throwing up some random videos, but if anybody has any topics that they want to bring up in relationship to VR, maybe something we were talking about on VR Roundtable that we only scratched the surface, we can get into any kind of topic that is a little bit deeper if anybody wants to go down that road. I'm going to just be throwing up some random trailers here. Bullet Ape says, I think you are right. It's inevitable, but concerned it's going for a deep sleep again. Scion VR says, imagine going to a VR arcade and watching a live game with Star VR. Okay, so Bullet Ape, this is an interesting take that you have right here, because you're talking about a deep sleep. And so what Bullet Ape is talking about is he's talking about the worst possible scenario for VR is that VR survives, but it's just a very small fragment of the overall gaming market. And because of that, it goes into another deep sleep like it did in the 90s. And VR basically goes into this deep sleep for 20 years. And we don't really hear about VR. It kind of dies off. It's not the next big thing. And then we got to wait another 20 years for VR to make a comeback. And then now it is the next big thing. And I don't think we're going to see a deep sleep. I think VR, it's obvious. Look, people have put on VR headsets. People with enough knowledge and sense and a lot of financial capabilities have put on VR headsets. They've looked around and they've said, oh shit, this is going to kill everything. And dude, I mean, it's inevitable. People know, they've tried VR. They know it's just a matter of when the resolution, the field of view, wireless, the weight, everything has to come together. But all of these problems, we are working on all of these problems. There are so many companies that are battling on this. There's so many companies that continue to push the button. There's so many companies that continue to push the envelope on this situation. Look at Star VR. I thought we were going to be in the era of the hammerhead shark, and they were able to shrink that thing down. The Star VR headset does not look that bad, and it's already providing basically human field of view, and it's only been a few years that we've been doing this. So it's weird because I think it's both sides. Like, I think some people think we're going to be having these incredible Ready Player One experiences within 3 or 4 years, and I think it's 10 years away. But then other people think we're way far away, and I think it's closer than that. There's a happy medium in between where VR is at, but it's going to be in the background, man. We are going to be third-class citizens. VR, if you're a VR fan, you got to understand you're going to have to enjoy a lot of these less than perfect experiences. And examples could be something like Torn. I think Torn is a solid experience, but it's also a less than perfect experience. So, I think that's some of the things that we're going to have to deal with as far as VR is concerned. We're going to have to deal with, we're second-class citizens. Let's see what's going on in chat. In the 90s, the experience was nothing like it is now. Yeah, it's funny because I was such a gaming nutcase in the 90s, and I never got my hands on any VR anything. I saw it in the magazines. I read about it in the magazines. Sega was going to have a VR headset at one time. I think it was called Sega Vision, and it made it to like the CES, and Jaguar was going to have a headset. Atari Jaguar was going to have a headset at one time as well. And basically all these things ultimately got canceled because the frame rate was so incredibly low. The amount of colors was so low. I mean, you want to talk about headaches. You want to talk about motion sickness. Oh my God, that would have been really bad way back in the 90s. Phil Yarn says, I think Sony has legitimized VR to the standpoint with the masses, so it's not going away. Sony has brought us to the point, past the point of no return. There is no way VR is going away. Well, the one thing Sony has done is they've sold 3 million VR headsets. And the thing about PSVR is it allows your average Joe Schmo to get into VR at a lower price point and to taste where VR is at and to get him caught up in it. And so that's a great thing about PlayStation VR, having that availability at a much lower price, getting the whole entire package. Hybrid Energy, 1992 Sega VR. I still believe, I still dream. I think it was more like 1993, but maybe it was 92. Maybe it was 92. Or maybe the Jaguar headset was like 1994. And then, of course, there was the arcade one, the virtuality or whatever. Dactyl Nightmare and all that. Yeah, virtuality stuff in the 90s. I didn't get into it that much. I got back into VR. It was a Giant Bomb podcast. They were talking about they had gone to the E3 or where it was John Carmack and Palmer Luckey had talked with the other guy on Giant Bomb, Brad. I think Brad had interviewed both Palmer Luckey and John Carmack about Doom 3. On what was then the Oculus Rift, basically. And it was that podcast, that Giant Bomb podcast, where they started talking about VR. That was like the birth of the second wave of VR. And I was 100% a flat gamer, no interest whatsoever in VR at that point in time. But I always kind of thought, oh, VR is going to make a comeback. This is kind of interesting. This is the future. This is where it has to go. This is the logical future. And so that's where we are. And that's why I'm watching Old School Doom. Because it is so freaking next level, man. But yeah, that's what we're looking for as far as VR is concerned. I believe it is going to make it. But anyway, guys, it's kind of a slow day. Not a lot of news going on. I am going to bounce out of here. I'm going to make my way over to the Best Buy. I will be trying the aim controller for the very first time. And I really want to play Farpoint. That's really what I want to do. But I will, of course, be trying Firewall 0 Hour because that is the game that everybody is playing. So that's going to go ahead and do it for our Sunday episode. Once again, we will be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I will see everybody then. It's Monday. It's Labor Day. But I'm still going to go to work for you guys on Monday. And then I'm going to do my fantasy football. But I'll see everybody then. Take it easy. Later.